Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Wednesday, April the 3rd, 2013. This is the first of many nightly market analysis videos, so you guys have been waiting for this to come back to where we're doing every single night market analysis. Now we'll be doing that, so congratulations on that. The one thing I wanted to bring your attention to is the fact that we have just peaked, in my opinion, on the market, so it's in time to start selling now. I'm going to be looking at the U.S. markets today because we'll be looking at a lot of them as sell opportunities, and I'll show you what I see. Looking at the EMW, the Wilshire 4500 to start with, we're going to look at this because yesterday we had a lot of these show up on the U.S. markets, a lot of shooting star signals there, and I noted that on the message form there on PerfectStockAlert.com and told everybody that I saw those, and if we were to get those closed like that, I would be really wanting to make a market analysis video and looking for confirmation the following day, being a lower series of lows from one candlestick to the next, a lower series of high confirmation. I'd be selling at that time. What happened, in fact, is we had most of the other markets actually change their candlestick formation by the close, so they weren't showing this particular candlestick. This one, however, was the Wilshire 4500. So this one is still very clearly a sell sign. The others are going to be a little more complex, but this one's very clear. And here's the thing you have to know. Whenever you're in an uptrend, you have a series of higher highs and higher lows. This is a bullish condition. Then you pull back and you look for your best buy entry opportunities at the 50-period moving average, this red line right here. And whenever you peak, that changes. All of a sudden, you stop thinking that way because you're anticipating that you're now going to shift into a downtrend, which means you start looking for the best sell opportunities at or above the 50-period moving average. We're there now with the EMW, the Wilshire 4500, so you want to be selling at this particular time. Now, if I'm wrong, and in fact we turn around, we form a nice little hammer candlestick formation here, and we start to get confirmation move to the upside, then you'll see that setup as well. But right now I'm believing this is in fact the start of a major move to the downside, and I'll show you why that is. But the main thing here is that I would look at this right here, this top, this candlestick formation, this sell signal here, as where I set my stop loss limit 1 cent above that. I'm going to stop, and I'll be looking for this to be breaking down. We're going to be testing this low here. We'll probably take it out. We've talked about this in the past, not on this chart, but on U.S. market charts overall. You'll see it. We're basically forming a very massive head and shoulders pattern. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right here, you can see also you've got this high close here, and then a higher close here. We've talked about this as before as well. And then you can look at the same time period on the ultimate oscillator, indicating momentum of the price movement. You can see a higher point here, lower high here, indicating that this little uptick right here was bogus. It wasn't going to be sustainable. It was going to fall apart, and that's exactly what's happening here. So we had a bearish divergence in play. It's broken down here, and then we had a sell signal here, and we get confirmation the next day. There's nothing here to indicate a buy signal. It should be a sell, and in fact, this particular candlestick for today, we can see that it is a very bearish signal. Whenever you have this particular candlestick, it's basically telling you continuation to the downside, and the size of the candlestick comparative to the previous candlesticks here, or even here, is very strong, showing that sell pressure is increasing, and we're seeing momentum to the downside increasing here. So again, all of this tells me look for sell signals here and look for opportunities to get short. Okay, we're going to take a moment here to look at the Toronto Stock Exchange, kind of get a look at what's coming down the road. So you can see that on the Toronto Stock Exchange, you were peaked out here, started bouncing around, got down to the nice 50-period moving average where you look for hammer candlestick formations, confirmation, that type of thing. You got one here, confirmation the following day, so that'd be a great entry opportunity. Back up, test the previous high. That happens here. Then we pull back down here and we start to do something different. We close below the 50-period moving average here, get sell signal here, and we start to find resistance at the 50-period moving average, not support, and then we turn into a bearish market. Okay, so that's what we're looking at developing here. We've made a nice move to the upside in the U.S. markets. We've been telling you that we don't like that. We think it's overextended. It's going to pull back. Well, now that's happening, and this time around, look for you to start closing below the 50-period moving average, and then look for more sell opportunities where you bounce up to the 50-period moving average. You get a sell entry opportunity there, and then you start moving lower, and you be forming into a downtrend. Having a quick look now at the S&P or the SPX. S&P 500 large cap index, you can see that we have started to move over here, rolling over to the downside. And the main thing with this overall chart is the same thing we pointed out before. You got this nice high point on the ultimate oscillator, indicating the momentum was stronger there than it is here. This means it's trending down. It's not as strong as it used to be, yet same time period. You can see that we've had this high close here and then the current high close here. was showing a bearish divergence. This is something you don't trust, but you don't start shorting it until it starts to break down. That breakdown is happening here right now. So I'll be selling that at this point in time, with the high point already being set on the SPX as being stop loss limit 1 cent above that. We're going to stop. You also have some other things to point out. Down here we talked about this when it happened. This is not a hammer candlestick formation. Whenever that happens and you have a sell-off like this and then she bounces off of that, I've oftentimes seen for many years that whenever this happens, you typically are telling the trader that what's going to happen next time you test that, you're going to break through it. Now that's what I expect to happen anyway. I think you're going to come down here, close below this 50-period moving average, may bounce around a little bit, and then you start to go even lower. That's going to take out this low. At that point in time, you will have this first shoulder formation, this head formation, then this lower low will give you a down sloping neckline. I'll be looking for that. You could have an up sloping neckline, but for now I'm still anticipating a down sloping neckline, and then you'll get a bounce, and again that little bounce will take you to roughly about the same level as you'd seen before on the first shoulder, and that would put you in line for bouncing again off the 50-period moving average, which then would be looking for us again to move even lower. So I think overall we've just peaked in this market. The Russell 2000 Small Cap Index is one of the early warning signs that you can get of this breakdown that we're seeing, and that was indicated by the fact that we have closed below the 50-period moving average. And again, this is something that look at as being bullish. I would look for us to be testing this low down here. We could take it out, but we could also bounce off of it, so keep an eye on it. Again, same overall conditions: first shoulder formation, head formation. We talked about this way back when it was happening, and now we're looking at this as being the start of a massive move to the downside. We will get a bounce at this point, and we will see bouncing up here to the 50-period moving average as being a sell opportunity. You guys know on the free website at perfectstockalert.com, I actually keep both my short-term and my long-term charts on the homepage there, so that you guys can review them and see my annotations every single day whenever you'd like. And this is my annotations that have been posted on the website for a while now. This is the Russell 2000, the long-term chart, and you can see that this is actually still a weekly candlestick, so it hasn't finished forming yet. If on Friday we were to actually see a massive rally or something like that, we could actually get back up to this line. But right now what we are seeing is this uptrend line right here has been broken, meaning we've closed below that thus far. So this is also indicating, again, we are peaking and selling off. And we also have the bearish divergence formation here. Everything in here would tell me look for a big move to the downside here, and that again would be in line with what we anticipate from a technical perspective on the short-term charts as well. So again, I would recommend that you look at both the short-term and long-term chart, and you'll see they're all confirming the sell signal here. Quick glance here at the NASDAQ. This one we've been very cautious of. Didn't like it in any way, shape, or form for all the same reasons we've already shown you on the other charts as well. High close here, higher close here, showing an uptrend. Yet it was not confirmed by the momentum indicated by the ultimate oscillator. You have lower highs here, we're telling us this is a bearish divergence situation, but you don't want to short it until it starts to actually roll over and break down. We see this happening today. Also yesterday this was a shooting star signal, but that again didn't hold into the close. We started to just change the candlestick formation, just forming another spinning top kind of thing. So and there's lots of bad candlesticks in that formation right there, so it's not anything that could tell us to start selling at that point in time, but with everything else in mind. And then we have confirmation here today, a nice candlestick formation indicating we're going to have more move to the downside here, which is going to put us a closing below the 50-period moving average. All this tells us to start selling this as well. Also, we have massive gaps here that haven't filled here, and then we have a couple, actually about 4 or 5 further back as well. So this is a massive bearish divergence, in my opinion, is actually going to get wiped out. I'm looking for the test of this low here. I would expect this to be taken out, but we'll keep an eye on to see whether that happens or not. The main thing here on a head and shoulders pattern, you can have an upsloping or a downsloping neckline. The main thing about a neckline is that you have this first shoulder, the head formation, you roll up over here, you come down, and then if you bounce off of a higher low than you had over here, then you have an upsloping neckline. If you make a lower low, then you'll have a downsloping neckline. Downsloping necklines are more bearish than upsloping necklines. So to keep that in mind, we'll get to that later. But right now we're just seeing a head and shoulders formation forming on every major market in the U.S. Last chart to look at today will be the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I have other charts on the website that I've marked as having sell opportunities as well, but I'm just getting kind of long in this video, so I don't want to make it too long. And again, I'll have another market analysis video out tomorrow night, so we'll cover more things there. The main thing here, looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you can't have all the other markets falling and the Dow Jones just continue to rally by itself. So we're looking at this as being something that you could also sell with a stop off the high here, and then we're looking at this testing this 50-period moving average. I would expect to close below that, but we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how you have to if it gets down to this point here and we're seeing strength, then we'll actually advance that stop loss limit, lock in a little gain, and starts to turn around. We'll take advantage of that. But right now, we're just keeping an eye on this as being something that's going to follow the rest of the markets lower. Here you can have this high close here, then a higher close here, same overall condition setting up, and then we had this bearish divergence formation by the ultimate oscillator. And you can see it sloping down here. We're just waiting for it to start to break and roll over. That happens today, so we're looking at that as being an opportunity to start selling as well. I lied. There's one more chart that I wanted to show you guys, and that was the NASDAQ, the long-term chart here. You can see the overall thing I've been talking about. This entire move here is a bearish divergence, because you can look and see that we have this high close here, and then on the ultimate oscillator high point on the momentum indication there, lower high, lower high, lower high. We can see we're just trending down the same time period from this high close here to this high close here. We are trending up. That's a no-no. You wait for this to start to break down. We believe that's happening here. Also, you could look at it from another perspective. You can look at the overall chart formation, this rising wedge formation right here. These typically break down whenever you get about 70% complete before they actually the trend lines connect with one another. That's roughly where we're at here. So for us to break down here, close below this would make perfect sense. If you want to wait for confirmation, you could, but I believe this is happening now. If you've not been to the free website at perfectstockalert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free, and all we ask in return, please refer a friend. Also, I'm bringing out your new features for you guys. We've been working on it for the past couple of days here. You'll notice the technical library here, the fundamental library, and the nightly market analysis. You'll get those every single night, and then again the Dow 30 alerts. Whenever I see an opportunity, I'll be looking for those here. And then I want to point out that whenever your markets are breaking down, like we believe are happening now, all your uptrends are going to start to collapse, and you're going to start looking for sell opportunities. You can look for lower series of highs, lower series of lows, and shooting star signals, that kind of thing. So check that out. You can also learn about that under here in the trade school section, so you can check that out. Okay? God bless, take care, see you in the next one, and thank you. One more thing. If you don't mind, go ahead and like this video if you agree with the analysis. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.